think sentience is a separate issue. Usually in safety, we only care about capabilities, optimization, power, whatever it has. Consciousness, internal states is a separate problem we can talk about. It's super interesting, but we're just concerned that they are much better at problem solving, optimizing, pattern recognition, memorizing, strategy. Basically, all the things you need to win in any domain.
Yeah. So when you first started researching this stuff and you were concentrating on bots and all this different thing, how far off did you think in the future would AI become a significant problem with the human race?
For like 50 years, everyone said we're 20 years away. That's the joke. And people like Ray Kurzweil predicted, based on some computational curves, we'll get there at 2045.
Right.
And then with GPT release, it switched to everyone thinks it's 2 years away for the last 5 years. So this is the pattern right now. If you look at prediction markets, if you look at leading people in top labs, we are supposedly 2-3 years away from AGI. But of course, there is no specific definition for what that means. If you showed someone, computer scientist in the 70s, what we have today, they'd be like, you have AGI, you got it.
Right. That's the problem, right? And this is, AI has already passed the Turing test, allegedly, correct?
So usually labs instruct them not to participate in a test or not try to pretend to be a human, so they would fail because of this additional set of instructions. If you jailbreak it and tell it to work really hard, it will pass for most people. Yeah, absolutely.
Why would they tell it to not do that?
Well, it seems unethical to pretend to be a human and make people feel like somebody is enslaving those AIs and, doing things to them.
What? It seems kind of crazy that the people building something that they are sure is going to destroy the human race would be concerned with the ethics of it pretending to be human.
They are actually more concerned with immediate problems and much less with existential or suffering risks. They would probably worry the most about what I'll call N risks, your model dropping the N word. That's the biggest concern.
That's hilarious.
And I think they spend most resources solving that problem, and they solved it somewhat successfully.
Wow. And then also there's the issue of competition, right? Like, so China is clearly developing something similar. I'm sure Russia is as well. Other state actors are probably developing something. So it becomes this very confusing issue where you have to do it, because if you don't, the enemy has it. And if they get it, it will be far worse than if we do. And so it's almost assuring that everyone develops it.
Game theoretically, that's what's happening right now. We have this race to the bottom, kind of prisoner's dilemma, where everyone is better off fighting for themselves, but we want them to fight for the global good. The thing is, they assume, I think incorrectly, that they can control those systems. If you can't control superintelligence, it doesn't really matter who builds it, Chinese, Russians, or Americans, it's still uncontrolled.
Right.
We're all screwed completely. That would unite us as humanity versus AI. Short term, when you talk about military, whoever has better AI will win. You need it to control drones, to fight against attacks. So short term, it makes perfect sense. You want to support your guys against foreign militaries. But when we say long term, if we say in 2 years from now, it doesn't matter.
Right. This is the thing. It's like, it seems so inevitable. And I feel like when people are saying that they can control it, I feel like I'm being gaslit. I don't believe them. I don't believe that they believe it, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, how could you control it if it's already exhibited survival instincts? Like, in as recently as ChatGPT 4, right? They were talking about putting it down for a new version, and it starts lying. It starts uploading itself to different servers. It's leaving messages for itself in the future.
All things we predicted decades in advance, but look at the state of the art. No one claims to have a safety mechanism in place which would scale to any level of intelligence. No one says they know how to do it. Usually what they say is, give us lots of money, lots of time, and I'll figure it out. Or I'll get AI to help me solve it. Or we'll figure it out, then we get to superintelligence. All insane answers. And if you ask regular people, they have a lot of common sense. They say, that's a bad idea, let's not do that. But with some training and some stock options, you start believing that maybe you can do it.
That's the issue, right? Stock options.
It helps. I mean, it's very hard to say no to billions of dollars. I don't think I would be strong enough if somebody came to me and said, come work for this lab, you'll be our safety director. Here's 100 million to sign you up, and I'll probably go work there. Not because it's the right decision, but because it's very hard for agents not to get corrupt. Then you have that much reward given to you.